If you're tuning in after the live, or if you're tuning in right now, please, please, please hit that like button, as I see many of you have already hit that like button and then some. And I greatly appreciate that, as it does help me get more people in here. It pushes through YouTube's algorithm and forces them to share the content. We get more people like you and I in here. Yes, there's been a lot of news that has come out today. A lot. There's been some stuff that's been under the radar. I probably put out 8 updates today. And that's not a joke. And again, as you know, for whatever reason, it likes to delete the XRP Binance chart, which is funny. But we'll get into this. I just want to say hi to everybody, but there's a lot of news. I covered it in individual updates, but we'll go over it during the live as well, because I know a lot of you didn't see it. But somebody already referred to this, and this is what what the question was asked. But this is the SEC surprise move: XRP not a security, but legal battle persists. And this is another source. There's multiple ones that have come out. No, the SEC isn't challenging Ripple's XRP security status. Here's what is happening. So we'll go into all of that too. I've talked about that in updates today, but I think it's a good idea to just talk to everybody about it. Sean, what's up, my friend? Welcome in. So we're gonna get into XRP's chart. I want to do a quick hello to everybody, but I want to do the intro real quick as well. And then, but we got a lot to talk about. Especially if we can break up. We talked about how it would behoove us not to retest the 54.4 mark. So anybody who tunes in today, I know it's a Saturday, I know it's a weird time. So maybe we'll have a smaller audience today and we'll be able to talk more universally. But we'll see. So let me just say hi to anybody who's watching right now. Or anybody who's commented, I should say. So, Jorge, welcome in. Miss Vicky. Jason. Terry, Ronald. Tim. Thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Brayden, good evening. Sean Crothers, welcome in. I appreciate you tuning in. Artatellis. Tony T88, welcome in. MC Prosperity, good evening. 45 people in already. Wow, thank you all so much for tuning in. 39 likes. You're doing fantastic. Make sure to hit that like button. Lars, good evening. Harvey, welcome in. Shashir, welcome in. And thank you for subscribing. Our first new subscriber of the live. I greatly appreciate that. 100%. Richard, good evening. Braden, nothing much, my friend. Just, we're going to get through this as XRP looks like it got its little liquidity dump for the next push out. And it should satisfy that move. So good evening. 6:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Saturday, August 19th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Sean, welcome in. Had to join this live on this one. Well, I'm glad you decided to tune in. They're going to shake us all out and up the price instead of dropping it. Well, if we look at it, if this is our liquidity flush, now, as we know, we talked about the dump down before, and we're like, what is this? Is this a bear flag, bull flag? But we said yesterday on the live, we're going to have to come up to 54 cents at least to validate the breakdown from the falling wedge and the top of that ascending triangle pattern. But if we break back within this formation and the weekly candle ends tomorrow, let's say we get pressure and we end back up above that 54 cents at minimum, that puts you back within the weekly formation, and we would have got our liquidity sweep, and we would have ate it right back up. And if that's the case, that's where some interesting things can happen. So in the weekly, you want to end on top of this 20-day support. That's where you could get a real shake-up here if we start to break out of the falling wedge to the top side, if we were able to recover this. We're a long ways from it. All we've done so far is we've been able to move down from the low support, from the swing low, which is actually a little bit higher than where it's at, like 435. But we managed to come back within the ascending triangle formation. We also managed to have a liquidity sweep after the golden cross. As we talked about, everybody knows this. This weekly golden cross is the 3rd time it's ever happened in XRP's chart. Well, when this starts happening, the first time it went up, came down 60% plus. Second time went up, came down farther than 60%. But both times it hit at least 60 or more percent. So now the third one, we came up here, and the target from up here to 60% is 37.5 cents roughly, which is the 2020 uptrend. We already went down about 53, 54% on the swing low. So do we need to go any farther? No. So that's why if we can satisfy this back up, and we're not going to know until we break back up here, but something tells me there's been a weird cycle here with not just the news and not just the things that are starting to break. Like, it's not just that the SEC all of a sudden, you know, the media was lying the last couple of days, and I was trying to point it out. I did a real nice corrective update. It got about 1,200 views from today, and I think everybody should watch it. It's a 3-minute video, and it even goes through crypto law and their response to this and how Bloomberg and most media sources blatantly lied. But now you've got Ripple with BIS. And this is probably the biggest news we've seen so far with Ripple, XRP. And this is something that has been breaking today. We first talked about it about a week ago. But this is something that, if you haven't seen yet, we'll go over this right now as everybody's shuffling in and I'm able to see what everybody's talking about. Hey, Joshua, welcome in. I appreciate you. Dean, hit the like button. Absolutely. Please, everybody, hit that like button. We did hit 53 cents today. We'll get back into the chart, but we're looking for a close at 8 o'clock. Roughly, I mean, we've got until tomorrow. Right now, we're doing okay. We're doing okay right now. We've had a great recovery. We've clearly come back up above the weekly support at 51 cents on the 200-day. We needed to at least hold that. Now we're trying to push back up to the 20-day support, and that's up at 54, about 54.2, which is actually ironically where the falling wedge and the ascending triangle meets. That resistance on the ascending triangle and the low support on the falling wedge that we broke through. Braden, you're selling one half at $100. We all have our philosophy. Christopher, what about if it price jumped to $10 or $30? Most would sell. If it went to $10 or $30, I would expect you at some point to take a little bit of profit. I mean, you're talking about some serious life-changing money there. But I'm not saying to sell, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But that's a whole nother ballgame. You're talking on 10,000 shares. That's anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 at that point. So that's a little difference there, my friend. So you would have to do it accordingly. But this is huge news here. I don't know who's seen this. Maybe in the comments, let me know if anybody's seen it. Tanya, welcome in, and I did share it earlier. Omar, welcome. Tanya, welcome in, love. I appreciate you continuing to tune in. Dean, good evening. Richard, hello, my friend. Miss Vicky says hello to all because she's so sweet. Such a nice soul. Ripple, now in Bank for International Settlements, BIS panel. And this is the Bank for International Settlement is what BIS is. Panel XRP rally ahead. Where did I put my water? That's the one thing I forgot to bring out here is my water. Well, isn't that something? Ripple XRP has been announced as an official partner of a key subgroup under a Bank for International Settlement BIS committee. Ripple, the company behind popular cryptocurrency XRP, has been announced as an official partner of a key subgroup under a Bank for International Settlement BIS committee. This could be a massive development in the company's pursuit to create a crypto ecosystem between central banks around the world. And we're looking for a catalyst here. These are good catalysts when we've already had our liquidity sweep. We've had a lot of good news here today with XRP on a weekend. So Ripple named as key BIS committee partner. Remember, yesterday we had MasterCard announcing that Ripple is one of the partners in this whole innovative thing with the whole central bank digital currencies. We'll see how this ties into central bank digital currencies as well. This announcement comes at a time when the altcoin is back to being in a bullish space, thanks to the recently delivered summary judgment in the Ripple lawsuit against the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. The judgment effectively said that the token cannot be deemed a security if it is sold through an exchange or through programmatic sales for retail buyers, while the previous judgment holds when it comes to institutional sales. And we'll talk about this after we go into the charts more, but this is a surprise that came out here. It's cool what's going on here. The SEC finally, you got the wording in a document. It's like hard to get right now. It's a 25-page document that we'll go over in time. But they actually stated within it, and that's where this comes from, that they're not actually challenging the legality. Bloomberg lied about it. All the sources lied, as we talked about. So, Ripple named as key Bank of International Settlement Committee partner. This announcement comes at a time when the altcoin is back, as we already seen this, back to being in a bullish space, US security, blah, blah, blah. is sold to an exchange, yada, yada, yada. So according to the announcement, Ripple is now an official partner of the Cross-Border Payments Interoperability and Extension Task Force. The task force is a subgroup within the Bank for International Settlements, Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructures. The BIS announcement comes just a few days after Michael Miebach, and this is what I was referring to here, Chief Executive Officer at payments company MasterCard, revealed that his company is in collaboration with the likes of Ripple in relation to a new central bank digital currency CBDC partner program. The importance of that relationship is MasterCard already has 37 institutions on board, many in the USA. AMC Theaters, I know a lot of you know AMC Theaters, is on board with this already, with MasterCard. There's 37 other businesses or financial institutions. So now you can pay at their establishment with XRP as part of this agreement with MasterCard. That's how big that is. So on the premise, even Bloomberg is still making it seem like they're challenging the legality of the judgment that XRP is not a security or programmatic sales to retail or programmaticable. That's not the case. Yes, if you guys are talking about my hat at Yeshua, and the best way I describe it for others around the world, it's like the Greek Jesus or the English Joseph. Best way to describe it. Revealed that his company is in collaboration. So read this again. The BIS announcement comes just a few days after Michael Miebach, Chief Executive Officer at payments company MasterCard, revealed that his company is in collaboration with the likes of Ripple in relation to a new central bank digital currency CBDC partner program. This is stuff we talked about in 2021, and it's really exciting for me. Meanwhile, the XRP price saw a significant volatile trend in the last few days thanks to the recent development, like the SEC's filing, yada, yada, yada. We already know about that. We'll get into that after. But now let's go back to the chart. So XRP has done a very good job so far of at least absorbing this fall. And we're going to talk about some inconsistencies here again when we go into the market cap. Terry, XRP has developed a CBDC platform. It sure has. It sure has. I know. Yes, MC Prosperity. Yep. Those microtransactions. I mean, think about it. On the ledger, I mean, when you start having a bunch of... you guys are already nailing it. I don't even need to say anything else about that. 88 people in here tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate you. Not much excitement today as far as the charts, but there's a lot of excitement around the whole sphere right now with XRP and Ripple. Make sure you hit that like button, as it will help push me through, and we'll get more people in here that want to watch. So, our first big test here was in the weekly. We shattered it. We did a great job here. We needed to get back above the 200-day, and we did. We got above 51 cents, what we talked about yesterday. And look at how we can talk about what we were talking about yesterday. Remember how we had the formation? Does anybody remember the formation last night that we were in for XRP? So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. This is our candle right here. Remember, we were talking how it could be a bearish candle. It came down, but we held. We didn't break the previous candle. Remember what we talked about. You don't want to come back below this. And if you want to break out, you need to go above there. So we had a candle that was pretty much stationary like we talked about. That is considered a gravestone doji. It's farther pressure down, but then again, it kind of finished. Nah, that's still down farther. But it looks like a gravestone doji. We had a little bit of consolidation. We never broke the low here. Never broke the high. Had another squeeze candle here. And what happened? We finally broke out to the top side. We validated the move by breaking over 51 cents, which is not just the doji there. That's also perfectly balanced, as we talked about yesterday, with the weekly 200-day resistance or support, as we want to keep it. So we needed to pass that area at 51 cents. Now, the more immediate structure we're trying to do is in the weekly. Before tomorrow closes, it looks a lot more doable today than it did yesterday when we talked about it. We're trying to get back above here around this, at least above the 54, about 54.3 level. You want to get really back above 54.8, but 54 cents or 54.5 would be nice to be back in that falling wedge. But that's also the weekly 20-day, so that we don't try to start invalidating this golden cross. There's a common misconception across the space that we've invalidated that golden cross. That couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, if we closed where we're at, it would take infinity weeks because we're not low enough to invalidate the golden cross at this level. It would take infinity. Even at 37 cents, it would take multiple weekly daily closes to invalidate this. You would need this 20 to all of a sudden come straight back there. You need a volatile spike down. More than we have because it's pulled up. This is what everybody needs to remember. I know it was a push down to 435 in the weekly. That does nothing for the moving averages at all. The weekly candle is still going on for a day and 11, or 1 day, 1 hour. So oh, you're not being a smart. You're just informing. Thank you for the education. But that's what we're looking at here. That's what we're looking at here. So if it does close back up here, this was all for nothing. This got eaten up by the bulls in the same weekly candle, and we continue to talk about this. This candle, when we broke up, was 518 million on a 94% spike, or 93.7%. Then we start breaking down. Now look at the candle on even this breakdown. It's up to 235 million now. It got up in the weekly now to 235. Today's daily candle, we only had 24 million again. So 275, I think I said 175 on accident in the earlier update. I meant 275, as you know, it was already at 210 yesterday. We talked about probably not being able to pass 275. But in relation, I mean, a lot of this is sell or buy back up candle too that we've had here in the last. I mean, that's a substantial bounce back up. There's not a lot of volume to support it because a lot of it's tied up into the higher time frames. But if you break it down into smaller ones, you can see it more. We bought back up about 20% now. 20%'s been eaten up now. So if this weekly ends over 54.3, and we knew we had to have a retest here. This is just, we talked about it yesterday. It behooves us not to retest the breakdown point. You have a breakdown at not just a falling wedge that we fell out of, but the ascending triangle pattern. You would want to show resistance now that we came back up within it if we're bearish. I think there's something more nefarious at play here, but we will find out. I don't know if we need to go back to the 2020 uptrend is my only concern here. Like the 2020 uptrend would have been that 60% drop. So that's where I'm like, okay, well, what exactly do the market manipulators have in store here? So now the 2020 uptrend, and this is in the 30-minute, is right here. Let me pull it out into a higher time frame so everybody can see. I got to go grab my water. But as you can see, we're going to try to reject in the same area. All of this is lining up. All of it. This all lines up here. All of it. There's no coincidence here. Resistance, resistance, the old formation. This is how you get into the all-time pattern. And we can swing this all the way through, but it's not relevant for us down there. But this is where it's at. If you get rejected here, you come down to the 2020 uptrend. And it's not made up. This is not made up. You know, this is the all-time patterns. And if you were to play this pattern out, it would take until August of 2024 to break that formation. All right, sorry about that, everybody. I apologize. I was really thirsty. You guys all know. I apologize. It rolled back there. So, Tom, you lost me on 20. No, this is if it plays out. You guys, you've all heard my theory before. This is if it plays out in the pattern formation. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. You have the short term we're playing with right now that we're talking about. This is the all-time pattern. I was just showing you if it goes down. This is if it plays true. If this formation plays true where it meets, that means it could potentially take until 2024 of August, 1 year from now. That's not to scare anybody. That's what could happen if the pattern plays out truthfully. That's so you have a basic understanding. But right now, we're not worried about the all-time pattern. We're worried about the short time frame. No, definitely not. Definitely not annoying us at all. So don't even worry about the other chart. That was just showing you the reference right here, the 2020 uptrend. If we were to get rejected and break down. But that's just a completion. That's the apex point of this formation. That doesn't mean we're going there. That's just in the all-time pattern for a point of reference. So anyhow, back on track. In the shorter time frames right now in the 3 hourly, we're coming up to the 20-day resistance, which is what's beating us down right now. In the 4 hourly, it's up a little bit higher, but we're trying to get back up to the weekly resistance. Daily, we've had a cross. See, that's the more urgent part. We've had a cross here now. So we need to come up here and rectify the situation here in the shorter time. Donald, welcome in. Sean, yes, the BRICS is on August 22nd. No, see, Terry, it's not. Oh, now I got you. Okay. Sorry, we already responded to that. Yeah, it's not the break formation. That's just, if it goes to the apex point, it can tell you it can go 1 year out. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think there's something more nefarious at play here, personally. Short-term goals, JP. The focus, what if after the economy takes a giant dump, people pull out money of investments at a loss to pay their bills, and then after the dump, it pumps? I mean, that's essentially what's going on every day right now. They're getting people to trigger. That's what's happening right now. But yeah, that's exactly what's probably going to happen. Kyle, hey y'all, I'm here as I'm moving my daughter into her senior year of college. I'm all ears. Love the content messaging. Hey Kyle, Cape Cod Kyle from Massachusetts. Isn't that awesome? A senior in college. Wow. Where does the time go, my friend? Where does the time go? So with XRP, what I'm talking about in the title today, now that we can get to this, I'm talking about the $1.50. What's the potential of getting there before the end of the year? If we hold this formation, and even if we go to 37 cents, which I know it's not ideal, but you could, I showed you the scenario of why you could go there. Remember, and this is the sloppy part of the chart, we have the weekly cup and handle. And we did the bullish handle right now. The way we did this is not a bearish handle. This is the bullish of bullish. We retested the formation. And we even came through some for liquidity. If we bounce out of here bullish, you're going to end up creating a massive reversal pattern that would swing you out of there. Now, it might have to come down farther. We don't know. But the technical target out of holding this cup and handle is $1.50. That's the technical breakout target. So there is one layer in between, which is that former pattern formation when you broke out of that bull flag, because we'd have to satisfy that move still. We'd have to break and hold $1.13. But this is what can happen if this cup and handle is satisfied and we actually are building a bullish handle on the cup. You have a massive breakout. You have pressure building right now. A lot of pressure building. And this is how you need to get a big breakout. This is how you have big breakouts. You have to have big liquidity drops. This is what we talked about when it first broke out. What if they were playing us in the beginning and then we had to come down and retest the ascending triangle point or the 2020 uptrend because we found out the 60% drop, seeing that this is only the third time in XRP's history that we've had a weekly golden cross? What if we had to come back down to 37.5 cents? That was one of our theories. We only came down to about 43. Some exchanges came down to the 37. But when I'm looking at on the here and now, on what I'm covering with the one I use on Binance, or my other ones, they came down to around 43 cents. So now it's one of those things. Did we build the pressure? That golden cross is still in formation. We want to come back up above tomorrow. We want to be around 543. We would like to be at 543 tomorrow on the daily or on the weekly close. Taurus will reject. Oh, and speaking of that, DB, speaking of that, she allowed their reasoning, but look at already what's coming out today. Because there was a lot of FUD yesterday, and I'll get into this because somebody asked earlier. Wow, we have 118 people in here now. Thank you so much. 85 likes. Make sure you hit the like button. That is one of the things, and I'll go through this. This always allows me to get the likes during the live. You can always send me a YouTube super chat in lieu of hitting the like button, but since I don't do any paid promotions, paid advertisements, or paid sponsorships of any kind, I don't hide behind the paywall. I just give you all the stuff I know for free, and you don't have to wait 97 minutes to get the info or yada, yada, yada. So please just hit that like button, or you can even join Tom's Army. But if you really want to send a YouTube super chat, by all means go ahead, but it's free to hit that like button. It's free. And I would love to see more likes, because if you hit the like button, it allows more people like you and I to view this content. It pushes me through the YouTube algorithm. But if you don't appreciate the content, I don't expect you to hit the like button. All right, I appreciate that greatly. So this is what was coming out earlier. The SEC surprise move, XRP not a security, but legal battle persists. And I know a lot of you asked me earlier when we first started the live about, what's it been now? 26 minutes. Oh, you guys don't want to hit the like button? That's okay. We'll get there eventually. I believe with persistence and hard work, you will eventually hit that like button. Whoops. The U.S. SEC said it will not contest. Well, it was not contesting if the underlying assets in the cases against Ripple and Terraform Labs were necessarily security. The regulator said it had to appeal the Ripple's case because its outcome could impact its other legal battles. XRP price plunged by more than 20% over the past week because of the current market conditions, returning it to the 50-cent levels. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, admitted that the underlying assets in its case against Ripple and Terraform Labs do not necessarily constitute securities. However, it intends to appeal the judge's ruling in its case against crypto payment company Ripple because it could affect its other litigations. I mean, think about that. So the only reason they're appealing it is because it makes them look bad in their other cases. Oh, that's a great reason. That's a real good reason. In its motion for interlocutory appeal, the regulator noted its concerns all this while was not whether the XRP token in itself was a security. And then motion for interlocutory appeal, the filing asserts, the SEC did not argue, and this is what's getting confusing, pay attention. The SEC did not argue here or in Terraform that the asset underlining those investment contracts were necessarily a security. And the SEC does not speak appellate review of any holding relating to the fact that the underlying assets here are nothing but computer code with no inherent value. Again, like we said yesterday, what the hell are we talking about here? So Ethereum, they're going to get their ETF approved looks like by Halloween or sometime early fall or late fall. You've got, I mean, this doesn't even make any sense anymore. I mean, after a certain point, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know, did my internet just cut out or something, or can you guys see me? Something happened here, I don't know. Can you guys see me right now? My phone, all of a sudden, the thing went off, so I didn't know if I was still live or not, because that's where I was seeing my comments. Yes, you see me? Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Art. Thank you. In the past 24 hours, 18,893 traders were liquidated. The total liquidations comes in at 44.97 million. The largest single liquidation order happened on OKX Bitcoin USD swap. Yep, 1.04 million. Bringing in the facts, John. I appreciate that. This was the absolute liquidity sweep we were looking for across the markets. I mean, it has to happen like this. So let's continue here. Just goes to show how threatened they are by Ripple. Yes, and wouldn't you guys agree, and Gales? This is criminal. You know, This is criminal when you talk about this. So, let me read this again. The SEC did not argue here in terra form that the asset underlying those investment contracts were necessarily a security, and the SEC does not seek appellate review of any holding relating to the fact that the underlying assets here are nothing but computer code with no inherent value. So what was the reason of the lawsuit to begin with? Serdar, welcome in. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Bohemian Groves. I like how they blocked Jason's out. I'll show it. Oh, awesome, everybody. I appreciate you letting me know you can see me. Yes, hit that like button. We hit over 100 now. Thank you so much. 101 likes. 109 people watching. I'm always shocked. No, Jason, don't stop. No reason to stop. You have a voice. That's why you're in the comments. You're letting it out. We are nothing more than understanding here. Positivity over negativity. Remember, we're the winners, not the victims, so we have to hear every point of view. So, although it is not questioning the status of cryptocurrencies, SEC still wants the court to certify an order for interlocutory appeal and argued that it fulfilled all the requirements for an interlocutory appeal. How? I mean, they're already saying that they're not even appealing the security status or the programmatic sales. They're just saying it's hurting their other cases. Like, I mean, that's I mean, yeah. Yes, I understand that, Jason, and that is what we like to hear around here. True, welcome in. Welcome in. Too bad you are quoting Alex Jones. Who's quoting? Oh. Additionally, it argued that there is substantial ground for difference in opinions and points particularly to the decision in the Terraform Labs case. Thus, the SEC believes other fair-minded courts could decide differently on the ruling of programmatic sales and other distributions. In its third argument on why an order of interlocutory appeal should be granted, SEC noted that it would advance the case's resolution. Failure to appeal now would only postpone a potential appeal until after the final judgment. Meanwhile, SEC is also asking for a stay of remedies and any pretrial proceedings pending the determination of the appeal. Ripple is until September 1st to respond to the motion. So that is what's going on. The XRP community has focused more on an SEC admission that the possibility of potential appeal. Crypto lawyer John Deaton said the asset holders were responsible for the regulator's concession because their amicus brief asked the judge to include it in the ruling. However, the financial watchdog's admission has not impacted XRP's price performance. The asset is up 0.48% in the last 24 hours and was trading at 0.50% as of press time. According to BN Crypto data, over the past week, the abrupt market movement wiped off all its gains post-SEC victory. I don't know about that. I mean, it's back up, so it didn't technically wipe all the gains off. But, I mean, it's back. It's close. So, that's what's going on today. That catches you up in the news. I think we all, need to take a step back and just see what's actually going on here in the grand picture. Nothing's what it seems. Nothing is what it seems. Why is there so many optics out there? They're still acting like XRP is still not a viable option. Well, Jason, the big thing I'm expecting is to hear that they're going to go away from the US dollar for petro. I'm expecting them in some way, for them to come out, and they might not say it blatantly, but I'm expecting to get some hint that they're going back to the gold-backed standard to pay for petro, which means if you're part of the BRICS nations, and there's rumors that 76 nations now are on board. 76 nations, put that in perspective. We always hear about 36, but there's a lot more confirmed now. So if they do that, that means if you pay for oil, and let's say you bring in your yuan, and you usually had to pay, with the US dollar, you had to convert it into dollars after with the petro. Now if you pay with the yuan, instead of converting it into petro, when you give them the yuan, instead of them giving you money or whatever, they'll just convert it with the Saudis, they'll just convert it into the yuan into gold. So then they get paid through gold. So that takes care of the whole, that gets rid of the US dollar as the world reserve currency. If that one move happens, it's over. It would... Miss Vicky, you never know. You never know with what's going on right now, I keep telling everybody, your best friend is not just crypto. Your best friend is precious metals and crypto. They both work together. They always, you know, just like with politics, they pit Democrat and Republicans against each other, even though the central banks run the world. So even though we have a lot of inner fighting, it's pointless. It's pointless ramblings because we're fighting over the wrong topic. We're fighting over the individual person instead of the topic. That's why I don't choose to fight in the comments anymore, because, or about an influencer, I don't choose to fight about, because why fight about an influencer when we're trying to tackle the whole topic? All the influencers should be coming together, not fight each other. We should all be able to joke with each other with our faults. We shouldn't threaten each other. But if we do it like that, we become more unified. And then the powers that be can't keep you down. There's no way. You can't keep a whole civilization around. So now if that happens, I mean, what does that mean for the price of XRP? What does that mean for the price of gold at the moment that this is announced? Do you think it's any coincidence that gold is in a long-term falling channel here? And we'll go right back to XRP, but speaking of the BRICS, whoever sticks around for all this is one of those educational ones. And these are reasons why you can have a massive outbreak with XRP when you go on top. Look at gold. Look at that falling channel. You're talking about to start the week, we could start a little reversal here. Now, do we come all the way down here? Because you could have, and this happens sometimes, and this is how, if it happens, you create the inverted head. But it would take another volatile move down. So if you see this, and instead of the falling channel, these are bullish reversals. You'll usually get like a pull up somewhere. You'll get something like, and then you pull up. Sometimes if there's going to get a lot of pressure, you go like this, and then you shoot back up. And then it's just, holy hell, what the hell just happened here? If you get something like that, that could be a initial reaction, another 35 bucks. And then all of a sudden it creates that big reversal. So that's something to pay attention. But this isn't a falling channel. These are bullish reversals. You will get a retest even if it's bearish at 1931. And who's to say it won't happen on Tuesday? Because at the same time, the US dollar is in a rising channel, which is the complete opposite, and that's bearish. That's the complete opposite of what we're seeing with gold. Notice how it's setting up here? We're basically at our break point here at 103.666. So pay attention to that as the week starts. We'll talk about more with that as the week comes into play. Bitcoin, before we get down to XRP, since we're going to make our way there, Bitcoin's still over 26,000 here. We had a nice liquidity flush. The question is do we finish the targeted move, or did it satisfy it? I thought the targeted move would have been down to 25,194, but like I always say, it doesn't always have to come all the way to where I say. 25,638 was a hell of a drop down from up here at 28.8. So it might not have come the entire way, but that's a big breakdown. If we go into the shorter time frames, well, what is going on here? Well, we haven't got back above any short-term time frame. The 1 hour is what we're trying to hold, and that's like the cutoff of being like starting to move into a new positioning. So we're going to see. This looks like it's going to break up. That looks like a consolidation. That's going to break up. Even if we get a quick, that's breaking up to the next level. So the 2 hourly, we're going to break up at least there. What's the 3 hour support? Okay, so this looks like this should be our push. Probably to see how we react at the 26,585 level. So we could be pushing up about 500 points. We could get rejected at the 200 day on a fake out at 26,280. But either way, it looks like this should start coming back up here. Unless you just see a sell volume, then you might come down here. If this breaks, this formation, you'll come down here. But right now, it's not necessary. We could see a real retracement here, but we have to see. There's not really a lot of volume coming in. So we'll see what Bitcoin has in store. But we knew once it broke the broadening wedge, if it did, volatile move. That's how we knew it would be a quick shot. So who knows? Maybe that's where it had to consolidate. Maybe that's where it consolidates. And now we can start rectifying it. But until it reverses, we have to be very cautiously optimistic here. XRP is a different story. XRP, we know the exact formation. We know where we're revisiting. We know where we're trying to hold on the weekly time frame. Whoops. Sorry about that. My tablet, this thing is a trooper. XRP, we're trying to close on the weekly above the 54.3 right here. We want to get back above that formation. This is the all-time formation. So if we were to get rejected here and we lose this formation, You do have the 434, roughly 435, but the likelihood is you'd probably revisit the 2020 uptrend at 375. But in the current formation, in the shorter time frames, we're trying to get back up here. As you can see, we had a bear flag, bull flag, whatever you want to call it. The breakup would get us up here to 54.5 approximately. So that would get us above the weekly time frame. That's right above where we need to be. We want to be on top of this ascending triangle formation and back within the wedge, the falling wedge. Russia will no longer accept the rupees for oil purchase. Wow. Yes, silver. Yes. I was only talking about gold because of the BRICS thing looming. But as everybody knows, the most undervalued, or at least if you watch me, the most undervalued commodity of them all is silver. Right now, the gold-silver ratio is at 83 to 1, which means you get 83 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. I have a philosophy that I have taught everybody. When it gets to 40 to 1, that's when you trade silver for gold so you can take off some weight because it gets heavy with a lot of silver. So with silver, yes, you want to get silver. That's very undervalued. It's more than half the price less than it was 5 or 6 decades ago. And again, silver, if it breaks down more, like with gold, it's already had a big breakdown, but we could be coming to a head here. What the hell is that? That's not what I want. Silver, that was bear gold, but silver is coming to a head here because if we can break up, we could be coming farther down if we get rejected here, is what I'm trying to say. At 23 bucks, that's the formation. We tried to break out. We didn't hold. But like I said, with XRP in the weekly, these are just wicks. These could, well, it's a little more than a wick, but it could pull up here in the weekly and close about, well, I can't because the week is over in the precious metals. But if we lose the 200 day, you can come back down to the formation. Otherwise, that looks like a volatile setup for another move up. It really does. That looks like a setup for another move up. But yeah, buy your silver. Buy your silver. I don't really want to talk a lot about precious metals because it's closed right now. H-bar, on the other hand, anybody who participated in FOMO Fridays, if you did, let me know. We did 9 weeks where we bought H-bar, and we'll get back to XRP. We got 29 minutes till the daily close, where we bought $50 a week over 9 weeks as a community, and we got 10,057 tokens at a 5.2 average. Cost us 527 bucks. And now, as we can see, H-bar again today had a nice rally. I did an update earlier, talked about the correction that it might have to have because in the 3 hourly it showed us that we had a long leg doji and that we needed a correction. Showing some strength here though. Showing some strength. We came down for a little correction. But now if it breaks this formation, you would come down in here. I would like to see a retest at 619 to show strength for H-bar. That's back in the channel. But we could be on the precipice of a 25% pump if we properly show the support down at 60. Let's just say we confirm here the support when we come back into here. Our next big breakup would be up to 7.7. That would signal a possible 25% pump, but you need to hold that. XRP back over 52 cents right now. A pleasant sight to see. Up 2.9% roughly. Guys, I want to go into something real quick. 108 people watching. 121 likes. Fantastic audience again tonight. Fantastic. You guys are unbelievable. So, here's a discrepancy that I noticed yesterday when we were talking. When you look at the candles, and how does this happen? And I would love it. There's a slightly different audience tonight. And you see how the volume is crashing. This is, again, we're having a divergence here. That is a big divergence here in volume. There's not enough volume here. Look at that breakdown with the pull down. There's a 55% dump here roughly. And the volumes come apart. So from the top of the market cap to the bottom, okay, about a 53% drop on the market cap. So the volume's crashing though, but look at on the way up, and anybody, if you have any knowledge, please let me know. And I'm gonna relax, so if you smoke cannabis, this would be the time. If it's legal where you're at, like I am, would be a great time. We have 109 people in here, still 126 likes. Last time I checked, the H bar was up. Yep, it was up 10% on the day. So with the market cap, wait a minute, what does this comment say? Sean, anyone could have sold the XRP pump into XLM and then into XDC and made massive gains recently, which I did. Well, Sean, I mean, it seems like that on the surface, but now you're talking about compounding capital gains at 35% each on 3 different sales just to buy back into XRP. So you paid 35% in each sale just to get back into your long-term holding bag. I mean, that's one way to look at it, but when it comes tax time, you're not going to feel like you made any money. You got to weigh it when it's a 35% capital gains. That's just in the USA. Some places are more, but that is the real kick in the gahoozy. Or you could just accumulate, understand what you have, wait outside of a year, wait for the ultimate move to materialize because we're in an accumulation phase, and then only give them 15%, and the move's going to be much bigger than these little swing trades. But those swing trades compound over time. So here's the discrepancy, folks. The breakup here. The market cap, we had 709 million before on this candle. Then we had 10.45 billion. So coming back up, we're in the 3.94 billion. Now coming down, where's all the volume at? So how did we go up here with 10 billion in volume through here? We didn't sell off all that volume. Down here, this candle was 1.4 billion. So even on these candles, 3.28, the reversal candles, there's not a lot of sell volume. If you actually look at the size of these candles, the consolidation candles are just as big. Some of these aren't even hitting the billions. This one was 3.19. That's a pull up, a lot of it. But I don't like to even judge those candles. I like the big pull down candle. So where's all the volume? Today again, today's volume is 1 point, and there's 23 minutes and 52 seconds. There's 1.239 billion. Where's the volume for the sell? I was expecting way more sell pressure if it was actually going to be legit. No, people are absolutely afraid to invest, Jason. Absolutely. Is it possible to see a pump unlike anything the charts can predict? Yes, it is. Yeah. It absolutely is, but you're going to get the indicators. There's no way around indicators. Like, you can get a massive breakout, but there, even if it went to $10 right now, you couldn't say the charts aren't pointing at a massive breakout. It's pointing at something parabolic right now if it could satisfy the need to hold this positioning. It's just like the market cap. As long as we don't lose this, we're fine. We came down initially. Now it looks like we're forming some kind of weird bull flag. Came down. Now it looks like a bull flag or something's forming that's a little bit more bullish. No, I mean, everybody can trade their own way. I just have a strategy that I've used in many different other fields with precious metals and the stock market in years past where, you know, I would do the accumulation phase and I wouldn't just buy and sell. And the other one, it was 15% or 20% or 25%. But, you know, it's one of those things. If you understand how to manipulate it, the big businesses and institutions aren't selling every swing trade. That's the common misconception. They couldn't give a shit about these small trades. They couldn't. The only thing they care about is it went down 52%, they can buy in there. They buy every small liquidity sweep or big. That's the honest to God truth. And they don't sell. It has been retaining the price, Jason. Real good. It has been. But we needed a few catalysts here, and we've gotten a few now with Ripple being announced to the BIS, the Bank of International Settlement. It's a big announcement. We have with the SEC, them stating unequivocally I should say, that they're not going after XRP for the security purposes. All the exchanges need not worry anymore. That is over. That has sailed. It has sailed. Oh, we're all excited, Jason. Your excitement, it makes me even more excited seeing the perspective of the audience. It really does. Lawdox, exactly time it will come when no one expects it. You want volume. XRP is going to get some volume. It is going to pump insanely if you ask. Absolutely it is. At some point it's not negotiable, but if it's going to, it's just when. That's why I prefer to take this accumulation phase different than the rest. That's why in 2021, at the end of the bull market, I sold out. $1.66, but I said, you know what? When we get a good price in the bear market, I'll be back. I didn't know it was going to take a year and a half. Felt very empty. But, you know, now we're inserted. We know what we're doing. We know exactly what we have to do. Oh, heck yeah. I don't even consider the Fed Now announcement really a big deal, honestly. I don't. The CBDC side supersedes the Fed. That Fed coin is horse manure. That's all. All that is, you're basically talking about a diversion with the Fed Now when it comes to the central bank digital currencies. They're just distracting. Who gives it? I don't even care about the Fed Now. I talk about it because I have to. I cover it because I have to. But all my stock goes into central bank digital currencies, not the Fed Now. That's a way for us to be kind of lined up, as we would say. But this guy is so engaging. Cool beans, Tom. Hey, I like to engage with the audience. That's what I do. I always say this: the difference between me is, one, I actually talk to everybody, not just the ones who donate. Two, my comments, if you're actually watching a video, when you go to comment, I respond. Oh, I do. And you're not going to get a response of spam. I delete it almost instantly. And I have other people that have the same mindset, that over the time I've made mods that do the same thing. But it's the only way we can make common bonds. Thanks, Law Docs. I appreciate that. Thank you. So right now we're waiting for, we got 20 minutes. ET Wonder, when are you buying? I've already bought. I have an average of 34.6 on XRP. That's my average on XRP. My plan would be to buy more. I have 12,222 tokens. You are obviously newer. I have XRP, XLM, XDC, same denomination. All bought at their own levels when they were wherever they needed to be. I have a 34.6 average on XRP since you asked. 20% below that, I would buy roughly 2,000 to 3,000 tokens more. Then every 20% I buy about the same more amount. And then by the end of it, I would have roughly, I would have bought about 120% of my total purchase if it went down 100%, which means I would have more than brought my total from 34 to 18 or 19 cents if it allowed it to do it. Maybe even better. It might even be pushing the 15 cents if it got lower. But those are in worst case scenarios, and I set myself up for that. But right now we need to know if this is a head and shoulders pattern. So this, you know, this doesn't really look like a typical, could be a double top, but this is a wide consolidation. Like, it is such a wide consolidation. Like, that's the short pattern here. But this, you really don't even need this on this chart. This is unnecessary for this one. This is the all-time pattern. You don't need that. This is just the all-time chart here. We have the short time chart that we pay attention to. That's the falling wedge, and that's the ascending triangle breakout. But the all-time pattern shows you the all-time pattern. It shows you exactly what happened. When we made this breakout, and I love talking like this, this area, resistance, these are lower lows. I mean lower highs. Lower high down here as well. This is where we knew our top area. We didn't know we were going to overrun to 94 cents, but again, became a wick, back down. Became a wick, back down. Use it as resistance, back down. Now the bottom of this formation is 37.5 cents. That's why it's relevant. Now this was our keepsake point. Resistance, resistance. This is where we broke out of this formation. We tried to use it as support, but as we talked about before it even got down here, very nervous to come down to that. It would just fall through and play it true. And of course it had to come back through and try to play it true. Didn't come all the way down. Could just be a wick back into here, which is it's very possible. We won't know anything until first we get over the weekly time frame, which we have. We've got over the weekly. Now it's in our best interest to get over 53 cents. That's the daily 200-day. As you see the bearish cross here. So this is where the first layer is going to try to invalidate the weekly, the golden cross. Can't do it yet. Can't do it for several weeks. Can't do it for infinity if it stays at the 50 cent level. It's impossible. We need to have a breakdown farther and hold 37 and worse for a couple weeks. But right now, by the weekly closing here, I hear a lot of people talking, or thinking at least, and they just have a misunderstanding, and there's nothing wrong with that, that we're going to close below. Like, this is not attacking if pump is certain, buy low, just asking Tom, big fan. Oh, the pump is not certain. This is conditional. So I said, XRP is setting up a pump that could bring us to $1.50. It is actually absolutely setting up a pump. Are we going to be able to hold it? Is it a fake setup? We don't know. But with a lot of the news that's coming in, to me it looks like it's more of an exacerbated liquidity sweep to gain liquidity. The 22nd, though, I talked about it before the BRICS thing on the BRICS summit. We wanted a big liquidity sweep before it. So the fact it happened now, it leads me to believe something bigger is going on than meets the eye. Is it any coincidence that Ripple today is announced as a panel member of the Bank of International Settlement to create central bank digital currencies worldwide for banking? Is that any coincidence that we heard about that today? Is it any coincidence on the same day today we start to hear about the SEC with their 25 pages worth of documents where they said they're not actually going after XRP as a security anymore? There are no coincidences. We're only here to speak facts. The problem with it is most people speak on hoping because they want people to watch. I don't want you to watch because you think we're going to 10,000 today or tomorrow. I want you to watch because you can see what's building and that price predictions are meaningless. You know why? Because the person who bought 10,000 tokens for $3,500 and then let's say it got to 10 or 20 bucks, now all of a sudden they're not happy with 3,500 turning into 100 grand or 300 grand, all because it didn't go to 3,000 or 10,000. That's all I'm saying. For anybody who's struggling right now, with $200,000 change everything? Even if you only could take out 10 grand because you want to keep settle, an investment, or 30 grand. I mean, wouldn't that change everything? And that's just XRP. Remember, if you're following my trajectory, if you're new, we've got 12,222 XDC and XLM. We've got VeChain, 22,222, and also ZIL. We've got 62,222 DGB. We've got 10,057 HBAR and 3,000 plus algo we're doing on Winning Wednesday, $75 a week as a community. We just did it the end of the week. We did, and we have Casper, over 7,000 tokens now on our way to 10,000 as we're doing it on FOMO Fridays. Only $50 a week. So we're building this together. But these are the times where the emotions play out. So XRP, honestly, we're killing time here. So if anybody hasn't realized yet, we have 13 minutes. 105 of you are still sticking around. Hell, if you want to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button and join my channel. Join Tom's Army, as I would love to see more of you in Tom's Army. Or send a YouTube super chat. That would be a great time to do all of that. Share this. We got 13 minutes to see where the daily close is, and then I'm going to go. I just want to lead us into the daily close. So let's see what's going to happen here. Right now, XRP makes me happy because it had that liquidity grab right here. Had a nice pull down. Hey, John, welcome in, my brother. Hopefully you're having a great evening. EB, I'm on the sidelines wanting to buy more. Or waiting to buy more. Just want to get the most coins for the money. Yes. Just have a plan. Just have a plan. We all want the most tokens for our bang for our buck. But we have to make sure that we are properly doing it in a bear market. And this is almost invalidated, this move now. Almost. See this drop? It's almost invalidated. We need to come back up here and break this. And we can invalidate this entire move. Remember yesterday we talked about, and today, for anybody who's just tuning in, we talked about how this could be Yes, it looks like a disguised bear flag, but it really pulled up into a bull flag. Technical target on the breakout, which it looks like we're breaking out now, is 54 point, what is this, about 54.4, 54.3. On a breakdown, it would have been 43.5. So that's how we knew we would get there. Sean, you have some good karma coming your way, Tom. I believe that. You sure about that? No, I'm kidding. No, I firmly believe that happened on July 4th. I firmly believe this happened because I was going too fast. Do you know I completely changed my entire approach, even to my stream in the last 7 weeks? Just the way that we all talk. So I think it happened for a reason. I think I was going too fast, and I needed to slow down and focus on certain things. And going fast can mean a lot of different things. You know, I was just focused on too many things. Right now, the focus needs to be here. Carpathian. I agree. God has placed us all here for a reason. We must do good with the wealth that he blesses us with. Yep. And like I told everybody in this community, you might not like the burden, but you're going to be the ones who understood what was coming before this next cycle. You're going to have to keep your families afloat. Whether it's brothers and sisters you don't talk to anymore, aunts and uncles you despise, you know, your parents, something. You know, you're going to have to lead it. So it might as well be by the ones who are good-hearted. That's why I always say the ones who stick around here have a heart. I already know that. If you're sticking around here, you have to have a certain set of principles, because otherwise I'm going to irk you. Maybe some get irked by the fact that I'm not afraid to talk about faith, which I didn't do for the first 2 years until I was in the right state of mind. You know, maybe it's the fact that we speak truth and we don't play the victim, and a lot like to play the victim, so it's not their fault. We take the positive approach. We are unified, positivity over negativity. We don't care about politics, we don't care about agendas, we don't care about any of the new wave era. We only care about what's right in front of us, what we can control, and that's our personal finance. We're becoming our own central bank. That's what we can control. Thank you very much, Jan. Thank you so much. Sean, Tom, I've been here since the beginning. Hashtag growth. Yes, and there's been a lot of growth. And not just in the size of the audience, but for me personally. Kyle Kupiak, is it true we can only take off uphold $10,000 per day? If so, how can we lock in a price that we want to sell it if you can only take $10,000 per day? Any input would be great. That's not true. If you're a VIP member on Uphold, I can take unlimited. You have to be put as a VIP member, which means you have to trade and have good standing. Sean Crothers would speak more into that because he deals with a lot more than I do on Uphold. He's done a little bit better financially at this point than I have. So I don't have that large of money that you're speaking of in there. But I can tell you, I can take off over $10,000 a day if I had to, once I got put to the VIP. But listen, okay, so you can, let's just say that's a great problem to have, though. You can only take off $10,000 a day. So you take off $70,000 a week, $280,000 a month. You know, that's a good problem to have. $2.4 million a year in that scenario, or 2.5. You know, it's a good problem to have. Living in the new world with an old soul. Yes, indeed, Mr. Extra Sour Cream Taco Supreme. I was always told when I was younger I had an old soul. My grandma used to say it. She passed away in 2014. But I was told this by a older black lady. I had no idea who she was like in a store setting. She came up to me and she's like, you know, you have an old soul of and I don't remember if she said a 70 or 80-year-old black woman. She told me I was like a little old black lady, my soul. Never forgot it to this day. I was not even 10 years old. Yes. Yes, Sean. I don't know. That's one thing that I have, you know, that I have to control now. Do I even ride something that is a throttle control that I can do 20 miles an hour on? You know, but there's many ways I could have approached that differently. Like one I could have walked my bike across, you know, instead of it being where the little crosswalk was. Even though the car did turn with no turn signal, I could, if I would have been walking my bike, I wouldn't have been going so fast. I appreciate that, Sean. Oh, to lock in the price. I got you. That makes sense. I get you. Yeah, I see what you're saying there about locking in the price. Jorge, sorry I'm late. Had to grab something to relax. No problem. No problem. Hey, a donation. Thank you so much, MDF. The first donation of the night. It always surprises me when somebody sends their hard-earned money. It really does. I don't know. It just surprises me. MDF, thank you so much for the $20. That is some generous support. Paid it forward for the entire audience tonight. In the sense of donation. The entire audience has already carried it forward in their own. 119 people and 150 likes. I always say this. Do you know how rare it is to get over 100%? Like, go watch your favorite streamer. Whether they have 30 people, 100 people, 500, 1,000. And see how many others pull over 100% in every stream. Before the live is over. I don't see anybody. So you guys are a very special audience. And this community is something different. It really is. Like, it's something, I'm telling you, one day, and I put the target at 2028, not just for crypto, but for myself. It's a long-term goal. I have to do this every single day, not miss a day, for 7.5 years. And that would put me at the end of 2028. And I believe this station will be the most, not just trusted for getting your technical analysis with XRP or ISO tokens at that point, or crypto, but I think just when news comes out, when we talk about it, or just to come here and have a sense of peace that you'll gain an understanding of what's going on. By 2028, at some point, I believe this is going to be one of those stations that'll be the most trusted, and we're not going to be with 5 digits. I'm just saying, because as we grow our exponential wealth together, you're going to have unity from the wannabes that come in. You're going to have the people when the portfolios start flipping over here, and you think it was something special in 2021 when people started falling rapidly. When I turned 3,500 into, what was it, 15 grand roughly, in a matter of, I think it topped at like 17 or 18, in a matter of what, 4.5, 5 weeks live with everybody. You think that was something? Wait till we have the real breakout. You know, our portfolio is right now 2/3 the size as it was in 2021, and the price is at 50 fucking cents. I mean, put that in perspective. When we started with $1,500 more this time around, and now we're building into it. I mean, that's a bit, think about that. I'm telling you, anybody who's followed my philosophy since 2021, selling out of the bull market at $1.66 with XRP, even though we had a 47-cent average, we sold out and we bought back in. We didn't sell the top. I always tell you, I'm never going to get you the top, and I'm never going to buy you in at the bottom, because there's a certain level that I'm comfortable at when I see a rotation. So I didn't sell at $1.98. I let it come all the way back down to like $1.18. I knew it had to come up for some kind of consolidation, but it failed at $1.70. I'm like, holy shit, we didn't even get the double top. What the hell is going on here? Then it got rejected a third time at $1.68. I'm like, uh-oh. So at $1.66, I sold, tried at $1.68, but I put it through at $1.66 because it was volatile. Then I said, guys and gals, I know there's only 1,000, or what was there? Like 1,500, 2,000. By then there was about 3,000, because we got 2,000 quick followers during that run up, or 3,000. So I told everybody, trust me. And I like to tell the backstory, especially when we've been on an hour and 9-10 minutes, because it's the back end. So anybody who's new, you know, we get more new people towards the end. So everybody who had the faith and they waited, and we got a 346 average. We bought it the first time and we had a 29-cent average, but we sold it. See, that's what I don't talk about a lot, but that's my one capital gains hit that I was willing to take, and I don't want to do it again. And I only did it because I wasn't sure if we were even going to be able to hold the next time down. So we bought it at 29. I was very transparent, sold at around 44. Then it came back down and we bought it at 346, our rebuy. So we did very well there. We saved 10 cents a share after making some nice profit. But then I said, I'm never selling it again. I don't care what happens. Unless we have a volatile spike where I believe we started a mini bull market and then it goes back to a bear market. Then I'm okay. I'll sell it. If it's outside of a year, I'll sell it if I think we can come down low enough. A 15% instead of 35%. But I showed everybody, we took the first sale, so we had capital for what? For what we bought with H-Bar, for Algo, for V-Chain, for Zill, for Casper now, for Algo. This was our capital just by buying and selling XRP that first time around. Made a couple, I was about somewhere between 1,700 and 2 grand we made on that first go around here in 2020, late 2022, early 2023 with XRP. So that gave us a lot of collateral. That's why I say dry powder. But now, you know, we've had a lot of time to consider this. We've held XRP for a long time now. It's been over 6 months. I believe it's been over 6 months now. We know the formation where we finally said we have to buy when they talked about quantitative tightening again. Maybe it hasn't been 6 months. No, it has been. It was this rotation right here. It was back, yep. It was back in December of 22 roughly. Early we came around and we came back down. So it was in this formation when they started to change their stance. Maybe early 2023. Somewhere in here. 3, 4, 6. Where's that? So yeah, it could have been the end of January. So yeah, it's been about a little over 6 months when we re-got it back. So it's been a long journey. But it's the accumulation phase. So we've been able to accumulate in other things but XRP when we could. We got XLM at about 6.2. We got XDC at like 2.7, 2.8, maybe 2.9. You know, we got good numbers. We got good pricing. Sean, yeah, Tom, you made some crucial calls. That's why I stay listening. I appreciate that. But enough of that. See what we did? See what we did, everybody? We got to 8 o'clock so we can see the daily close. Does that not look like a beautiful formation for XRP in the 2 hour for another break up? Does that not look nice for a break up to here? I think we're going to retest that area. Like I said yesterday, it behooved us not to come up there. We had a little bearish setup where we had to, you know, fix it in one candle, but that was okay. It happens. You say it all the time, Tom. Volume creates price. The volume will be insane when it hits. And when that will happen, we are on the edge. I mean, yes. I can't wait. I can't wait until the day I come on and I say, guys, I know yesterday our portfolio, we started with 5, it's 10. That's where we're at right now, approximately 10. Could go way lower. But I can't wait until the day I come on. Like I did in 2021, it was the greatest day ever. I went to bed, we had like $6,000 in the portfolio. Maybe not even that much. Maybe 4,500, 5,000. We woke up the next day and it was at 14,000. We were literally up $10,000 overnight. And I remember just the camaraderie within just the small community we had back then. But it was just one of those things. And I even said it's going to be a painful road, a very painful road, because we're too early still. And with the lawsuit, we knew it had to go through. And now it's playing out as we predicted. We talked about 2023, late 2023, third quarter. We were finally going to get the clarity we needed. Q3 or late September. I mean, look how close it was. It's phenomenal where we're at right now. Now with the Bank of International Settlement and everything that's happening right now, it's just, and the SEC saying they're not going after us, XRP as a security for programmatic sales or for us to buy as retail. That all but clears it for the institutions. They basically talked themselves into a wall. They said it's coding. So it's just coding then for institutions. Don't you see the beauty of this? The fact that they themselves called it just coding on a computer, they talked themselves into an L with the institutions. If it's just coding for us, what is it all of a sudden? Transparent for the fucking institution? Yep. Oh yeah, you're always too early till you're not. 2023, I don't consider the end of 2023 too early. I believe it's the end of the shakeout phases. You know, that's why, even if this played true and it did take until August of next year, that's not that far, guys. I mean, I feel like we just flipped the calendar and now all of a sudden we're talking about Halloween again. Like, how the hell are we almost through August? I mean, there's so much stuff. It's turning so fast now. So it's going to get there before we think. You know? They don't care, Miss Vicky. And the thing we have to ask ourselves, and this is the thing, let's just say, and I don't want to get into too much like the Project Bluebeam and stuff like that, but let's just say it finally comes to fruition. That's why they're doing the disclosure with aliens and all this great stuff, which you're allowed to talk about aliens on YouTube, so that's fine. But they're doing the disclosure thing. And what if they do the holograms? They've already shown you with the sphere in Vegas. You've already seen it with the sphere in Dubai. They've mimicked the moon. So who's to say when this is all going to happen? Wouldn't you? I mean, who's to say if they do something stupid like that? I mean, what the hell is really going to happen? We don't know. So my point here is, let's have some fun with this, with what we've been building for years. Let's not penny pinch ourselves now. Let's not overvalue our native currencies when it's shit. Let's focus. We have to be laser focused. I'll even be on here as long as we have internet, even if the supposed invasion's happening. So, you know, just be aware of that. As long as I can get on here, no matter what is happening, I will still do my daily updates because it keeps me sane. I have commitment like no other, as you know. So, that's it. That's all we have to do. As long as we can stay together, you know. We have to be mentally tough. We can't be based on emotion, you know. So, Carpathian, yep, I don't disagree with you. I could still see another shakeout, even if it's not massive. Let's say we get rejected here. I can still see a shakeout to the 2020 uptrend, even if that's worst or the best case scenario, and that's still better than 25% dump here. You know, that's still a 25% dump. Actually, it's more. Wait a minute. It's more than that. What am I talking about? What am I, blind? Well, don't answer that. Let's say we come back up here and retest that area right around 546. %. I mean, that would bring you back to the 2021 or 2020 uptrend, which is in the all-time chart. So, I mean, that could be a possibility, but we won't know until we get rejection here. It's just, that's the bottom line here. We won't know until we get a rejection. And I know I'm staying on longer, but I just have a lot to talk about here. And I know it's repetitive, but sometimes repetitive is the best thing. It really is. Wow, MDF. MDF, thank you so much for the $20. That's incredibly generous. He says, I finally found someone with same strategy, hold for over a year to take advantage of long-term capital gains. You are the only person who stresses this. Thank you, MDF. I think it's very important. I think it's very important. And that's why I also say it's so important to buy in bear markets. Just so that you feel good about holding it for that year. And you understand that you can buy 20% lower if you have a good buy. No matter where you buy, it's just you're going to have to buy more if you buy a poor purchase the first time. That's all. So when people say, well, why don't you buy when it's up higher? Well, everybody told me to buy at 70, at 80, at 60, at 50. I bought at 34.6, and I don't want to up my average. I'll lower it by 20%, but I'm already satisfied with what I have. And I continue to build into the ISO and do a hard look at the Internet of Things with what's coming next in the next chapter. You want to be on board with you want to be on the right side of history. Unfortunately, I live in the USA and I'm not on the right side of history. So, but that doesn't mean me individually. I can't thrive in a recessionary environment. I'll be one of the few that lives around me that's going to be, flourishing because I'm adapting to the new world. We are adapting to the quantum financial system. We're adapting to the ISO 20022 and the Internet of Things. We're adapting to the CBDCs and flipping digital. We're adapting to the new gold standard here that we've been talking about since 2021, as I've been begging you to build your own central bank. And now, isn't it crazy? This is something we didn't even know about the BRICS back then. Now on the 22nd, all of a sudden, it's staring us in the face. Isn't it amazing that everything we talked about with not just SWIFT, how I talked about how it could overtake SWIFT then, and now they built a partnership and an alliance with SWIFT, so SWIFT has the liquidity with the ODL and the speed. Isn't it just amazing how this is all happening and nobody's really talking about it, and all they're emphasizing is that XRP is going to go to 25,000 a token? Isn't it amazing that the people we take our information from couldn't even chart? But they're the ones telling us where the price is going. But you put them in front of a chart and they don't even know what the hell they're looking at. And it's scribble scrabble. Like, that's what I mean. How are we going to take our long-term predictions if the... Anyhow, not the individual, Tom. You focus on the issue. Which the issue is we're trying to get to our overall goal. We're trying to go from the third to the fourth and ultimately the fifth dimension. And being stuck with emotion is the third dimension. A clear mind, unified by love, helps push you towards the fourth. You have to do a lot more to get to the fifth, which I haven't achieved yet. Man, I take a week off and come back to see all hell breaking loose. The chart done hit the van. Yep. Yep. That's why I won't be selling back into fiat. Exactly true, and that's what I always tell people. The only way I would even get rid of any is if I would be taking it over. Let's just say XRP went to $1.30, $1.50, no, $5, $6, and I wanted to buy some precious metals because it wasn't properly aligned. Okay, well, I have a few thousand XRP that I don't talk about. It's like 3,000 over the top, as you all know, on FEMX right now. But the 12,222 never gets touched. But there's 3,000 there, so what am I willing to sell? 3,000, that's it. The 12, well, and if I had to get pinched, 5,222 I'd be willing to sell and keep 10,000. I am not willing to have a holding personally under 10,000 tokens. So, that's it. That's it. So if it gets to 10,000 and I want to sell 1,000, there you go. I mean, if it gets to 10,000. If it gets to $10 and I want to sell 1,000, there's a little bit of money. Does anybody know how much money that is on 100 or 1,000 XRP at $10? See how many people are actually paying attention. Yes, sir, Sean, 10K. So that would mean I'd have 4,222. Well, we're going to see where we're going to sell because we're trying to make it to where we never have to touch it for the volatile spots. So if it gets to 10, there's a likelihood I wouldn't even sell it. I'm just saying if you needed to. At $10, I likely wouldn't because I can see the charts. And if it looks like there's a big rally, 10 to 20 is just one 100% move. But if we own it at 35 cents, you know how big of a fucking move? That's a 2,700% move. That means you would 27x your money at a 100% move from $10 to $20. You'd have 27 times more money. But remember, there's people just buying in at $10. You know, I've played this cycle before, just not in crypto. I've played this in commodities. I just didn't follow through like I should have. And then I bought them back when they were a little more expensive too, and then made good money. But some of them I've seen start at 35 cents and they're up at $8, $9. You know, now we're just dealing it with crypto, but we're trying to pick the ones that are right. And for me, I think I have the best plan out of anybody you can watch because I understand the ISO tokens, the ISO 20022 tokens, but I also stress the Internet of Things. But also, there's one that I also stress more than the others that aren't even part of all of the rest. With the Ziliqua network. I showed yesterday, for anybody who doesn't know about ZIL, I showed yesterday the framework from ZIL from 2017, the white papers. Do you know it actually says in the framework that their intention is to be 10,000 times faster than Ethereum? 10,000 times faster. And they could already do in 27. Like, when people read that, they're like, oh my God, that's right now? And look, ZIL did exactly what we said. If it broke out of here, came right down to the bottom of this formation. This is where it really needs oil. This is same scenario as XRP. If it breaks this, you could have a big dump. And that's where you can buy exponential huge moves. What does one XRP break down to? What do you mean? Be the bank having XRP. Well, you can be the bank, but my friend, what are they always talking about? Why is XRP going to be so good? What is it backed by? Wouldn't it be Wouldn't it be asinine of us to not have what we're all talking about, why all this stuff is going to go up? We're not backing ourselves with it. Be a central fucking bank. You can't just be it with crypto. You have to have both. Central bank. You have to have precious metals. We must have precious metals. I can't say it enough. I mean, seriously. They work unified, not alone. They work better together. Just like politics work better if you leave it alone. So 12,524. That's where we're looking at our major resistance here right now on XLM. And then we have to obviously satisfy some stuff here. We're going to have to satisfy a position. I don't really want to update this chart because we have too much to break back through. There's no reason to even update it until you satisfy that move back up. But then we got a long ways to go here still. Long ways to go. I'll just make a couple of the resistance areas just so I'm not like being a dick. So there you go. Your next layer after, if you break 12.5, you're going to be firmly up in this area. So that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at here. I mean, we're stuck. We're stuck right now. We're stuck. We need to see if this was just a liquidity grab. And it really looks like it. Because, I mean, you can't make it up with the trading bots. Comes up to the resistance. Comes all the way back down to the breakout point of this gigantic bear flag. Hits the technical target. First target perfectly. Then it breaks down instead of up. That target, if we break up, we still need to get to 22.2 eventually. So, I mean, what if XLM, if this is its liquidity grab, if it manages to hold this, and let's say it's riding, that would put you up in this area if you can get the liquidity. Look at, another thing is just like XRP, it's pitiful. They're not even trying to hide it. Look at this volume at the top. 6.11 million. Now this big dump candle, I'm not a fool. There's 23 hours left in this candle. It's 1.71 million on that gigantic dump. Like, come on now. I mean, that's not even close. That's not even close. It's 6.1 million was the top volume there. This dump volume is 1.71. Even this one, to shoot it up, was 2.85. It's not even going to come close. So, I think it's a big setup here. Everybody's talking about how it's the end for crypto, but I don't know what the hell everybody's seeing. This is just the beginning. Don't you know when the news and the narrative shifts? Don't you know when all the people that were telling us we're going to have the biggest bull runs of all time are now all bearish? That's what we've been waiting for, damn it. Once all these people get scared, they're the weak hands. They couldn't read a chart if it bit them in the ass and slapped them in the face. You know? That's the truth. So when the mainstream narrative is saying we're getting bearish, now we're getting ready. Now we're getting ready. Like how Bloomberg tried to spin that the SEC was suing XRP, ruling that it wasn't a security for retail and programmatic sales. Because they don't want you to know what's right there in front of you. They always lie to you. What are they going to tell you? Hey, if you buy this, it's going to be life-changing. Or if you understand the ISO framework and the Internet of Things, that you're just going to be exponentially in a better place. If you start building a central bank with silver primarily and also gold right now, that you don't even need a real bank. That if you have good credit, you don't even need money. I mean, that's the thing. We can use the system to our advantage. All the dopes that tell you to not pay your bills, good job. Now you've lost your credit. Been there before. Now you can't take out a loan. Good luck. That's the basis of society right now. You take out loans, you build credit. If you can't take out loans to build credit, you're done. And we might as well stay a step ahead of the new social credit system, you know, so might as well keep our scores up there, everybody. We want to be good citizens. I'm a good boy. I am neither bearish or bullish. I live in the moment. I am bullish for the future, but in an accumulation phase, I understand that you cannot be bullish or bearish until you have the proper breakout. I will not be fully bullish until we break this point and make the run up to here. We need to get up here to hold $1.13, and then I'll say we're trying to do something more than a short-term bear market rally. Right now, we are bearish. We're on a short-term bear market rally. We are bearish. Even if we come up here and get rejected and come back down, that's still bearish. Short-term. We get on top of here now, all of a sudden we can say, oh boy, here we go. So, I'm more bullish than bearish right now. So, they know it's their job to deceive. They sure do. They sure. How many people are still watching? I thought for sure I'd talk people out of here. 111 people. Wow. 172 likes. I really appreciate everybody. Oh, and I always forget it. Me and Julie also have 10,157 Doge. You all know the story. Julie bought $50 worth of Doge when it was at 0.0000 whatever. And she didn't even put money on her Robinhood. She got 3 free stocks when she clicked on my stuff because I had one. And some of it went up over, like a year or whatever, and we sold it. Because I'm like, this stuff is junk. But it went up a lot. She got a good one on one of them. Like, they gave her one that was valued at like 15, and it went up to like 37, and then the other two combined for another $13 or $14. And we sold it, and it rode up. I kid you not, she sold it during the Saturday night debacle. Because I told her, I'm like, you got to sell it now. I don't remember how much it was worth, but it was over $1,000 from $50. And then I bought her 10,000 tokens back at 6 cents. I was able to buy it back for right around 6 cents. And I sent it back to her. So she's holding on to those on Robinhood now. So I was able to save her some money. And I was able to, get her back what she had. And then it was a little bit more. I think she actually, she had like 7,000. I was able to buy like 3,000 more by selling it how I did and just having it sit there until it went way down. So she's sitting good with that. And she'll never sell because she never looks at it. She don't care. But one day if Doge is ever sitting pretty, I'm going to say thank you, Julie. Jan, what's the question, love? Yep, exactly, Law Docs, exactly. The biggest way to ruin your emotional standing is to over rationalize how bullish or bearish something is. If you know what you're buying, it's the same reason I buy gold and silver. I know what I hold. I'm not ever looking to sell it, never looking to use it, but it's there for a store of value. Crypto is a little different. It's there a store of value, yes, but I'm looking to use it in the future. I'm looking to use it as a way of payment because it's quicker than gold and silver. See, that's why it works unilaterally. You know how the Federal Reserve and the banks used to be backed by gold and precious metals? That's what I do to myself. I back myself with my precious metals just in case. Just in case. Ah, darn it. Hold on, Jan. I need to pull up my phone because it went past your comment. Thoughts on Nostrovast. Wow, you guys, sometimes I'm like, I can't believe there's so many people actually watching and commenting. I mean, I don't know if I'm educated enough to speak on that. Before 1,000 subs, we've come a long way, my friend. I mean, if the Nostro Vostok, I mean, if the accounts, if it took over for that, do you want to know how much money's in those accounts? Guys, that's a $27 trillion industry. If XRP took over that, you want to talk about liquidity, that's 27 trillion. Codes are exchanged for, 27 trillion. I can verify that. What was it again? Nostro Vostro. Because I looked on Google. So I'm going to show you all. Because I needed to know the number. So what would it mean? It would be the ultimate money. Master Vostro. Fine. You want me to do it like this, huh? Fine. How much money? I thought I could do it the cheap way. Money is in nostril. There. Bank. Oh, I already seen this. Maybe I didn't. So this was in 2015, 27 trillion. What would it mean? I mean, that would be a game changer of game changers of game changers. Good luck trying to find the accurate amount, though. So, 27 trillion as of 2015. So, I mean, that would change things a lot. And late, we'll rewind and watch the rest later. We think in 150 before October. I mean, God, that's such a tough fucking question. It is. I don't like to put a prediction out there that says, oh, it's going to do that. We have a possibility of doing something big here in the very short term. It's all predicated on these next 2 weekly closes. I'll tell you, if you see by mid-September, not even, early September, that first week that close on Sunday in September, if we're still above the 50 cents and primarily above 54 and we retook this falling wedge, or just we're back on top of this ascending triangle, we very, very well could have a September to remember. I'm just putting it out there. You very well, because this targets before Halloween if it did something crazy like this. Let's just say we had volatility. That's a little bit far out. But I'm saying if it rides this a little bit, something tells me by late September. Remember the pumpkins last year? I said, you know, when the pumpkins come around, we're going to have a historic crash and yada, yada, yada. And then the pumpkins came around and we finally hit our lows where we could buy in. Something tells me this year the pumpkin time is going to be something of a misdirection. Like I've said, 2023 seems to be a big misdirection. How many people thought that have been crucifying us for buying in at 34.6 thought that we'd be lower by now, sub 20? And it's 50-50 that we get down there still. But I'm saying by this point, everybody thought we'd already be down there. I said with quantitative tightening, now the foot being taken off and going to quantitative easing, something's not right. So that's when I said I'm buying in. Once I realized quantitative easing was back on in early January, late January, I was back in. It was just, there was a meeting, we seen it, we heard it, we could hear the shift of momentum. So that's where I stand, ladies and gentlemen. So my voice is tired. I've been on for a very long time. I appreciate everybody. If you got anything out of this, make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the station, as I greatly appreciate every single one of you. If you want to send a YouTube super chat, if you want to join Tom's Army, or just simply share this content, do it now. Somebody asked me what exchange I use Uphold, but for the purchases, if it's XRP, I'll buy it on FEMX because I can send it there on the ledger, simply because I don't have to pay the extraordinary fees. FEMX has the lowest maker fees for us in the USA right now. It is what it is. I'm not affiliated, but I mean, I can share it if you guys are interested. But other than that, there's no benefit by clicking on it other than you can cheaper fees. And FEMX, here's the other thing too. FEMX, the reason I use it as well, that's about the 100th time I've done that. About when there was the 94% pump for XRP, it was the only exchange I was on that did not go down at all. The only one. And I was showing it in real time. Oh, that's the link right there. The FEMX link. Wow, why did it share way up there? Whatever, it's right there. So that's the FEMX link. I have, if you want the Uphold one, it's in my video description below. It's very easily to find. Very easy to find. Jan, no problem with the loaded question. I love it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. My voice is all talked out. I'll do an update later. And depending on my son, you might see me even later tonight. As you can see, though, this man, in the 30-minute, look at that. I mean, with the way that went up and the volume's decreasing, volume predicts price, everybody. So I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. Small correction needed here. Small correction probably needed. But like I said, we've got to validate every move. We don't have the luxury now. Small correction down to about probably the 513 area, if I had to guess. Or it could be hold by the 45. So it's either 513, but I guarantee, well, I'm not guaranteeing, but I can almost say without certainty, without any uncertainty, we got to come back here and confirm the next bullish cross here. So we should get a correction to no worse than probably the 513. But as long as we stay over 51 cents, no harm, no foul. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I love each and every one of you. Have a blessed night, and I'll catch you tomorrow.